Well, leaders outside the US are also outraged by Mr. Trump's comments Tuesday. Germany's Justice Minister called them unbearable and said the anti-Semitism and racism of neo-Nazis shouldn't be trivialized. In Britain, Prime Minister Theresa May did not mention Mr. Trump by name, but she had this to say.
I see no equivalence between those who propound fascist views and those who oppose them. And I think it is important for all those in positions of responsibility to condemn far-right views wherever we hear them.
Theresa May there. Well, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu also never mentioned Mr. Trump by name. On Tuesday, he tweeted that he was outraged by the expressions of anti-Semitism, neo-Nazism and racism. He said everyone should oppose this hatred. Well, now I want to remind you what Mr. Netanyahu has said about his country's relationship with the US early on in the Trump presidency. Take a look.
Israel has no better ally than the United States. And I want to assure you, the United States has no better ally than Israel.
Well, will this controversy affect that relationship? Let's go to CNN's Oren Libermann in Jerusalem. Oren, there certainly was no room for ambiguity at that rally of the white supremacists. Let's just take a look at what they were chanting on Friday night. Oren, the US president has said there were good people at that rally, that they were not all white supremacists, and they don't all need to be condemned. What do the people of Israel make of this?
Well, Israelis here, many of them I should say, were stunned by President Donald Trump's remarks. In much the same way many Americans were stunned by those remarks. Commentators in the media as well have been simply shocked by a failure to condemn neo-Nazism, or at least a moral equivalency between neo-Nazism and white supremacy and the other side, those that were opposing that. And we saw that from politicians from across the spectrum as well, from the left and the right. Some said, or at least one said, the neo-Nazis need to stand trial. Others said that hatred and racism and those who oppose hatred and racism are not opposite sides of the same coin. Again, that has come from both sides here. Many politicians coming out and saying unequivocally that there is a need to condemn neo-Nazism, and those who oppose neo-Nazism and white supremacy are certainly not the same people, or not similar to neo-Nazis in any way. So there has been an unequivocal call for an unambiguous condemnation of white supremacy there.
Prime Minister Netanyahu has said that Israel has no greater friend than Donald Trump. He's a great friend of the Jewish people. Interesting that the Prime Minister didn't mention Donald Trump's name. How is this going to affect their relationship, do you think?
I would say their personal relationship, not at all, because they've known each other for years. It is worth noting that Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu had a very muted reaction to this. He certainly hasn't been as clear, as unambiguous as many other Israeli politicians from both the left and the right. It's also worth noting that Netanyahu's only direct statement, and it came in the form of the tweet that you read out, came 3 days after the white supremacist rally in Charlottesville, and only after President Trump himself went after white supremacists and condemned them. And that's before he changed course there. There hasn't been an updated comment from the Prime Minister's office since President Trump accused both sides of violence there and accused both sides, seeming to draw moral equivalency there between both sides in those protests and the counter-protests there. Interestingly, one of the Netanyahus who has weighed in is Netanyahu's son, Yair Netanyahu, who called neo-Nazism a dying breed, even as he condemned neo-Nazism and called them scum, but saying they're a dying breed. Certainly an interesting and odd comment after they just held a torch-bearing rally, some of them brandishing swastikas in Charlottesville. It was Yair Netanyahu on his Facebook page who said the greater threat to America and to Israel as well is the alt-left.
Interesting comments there. Oren Libermann, good to have you with us. Appreciate you. Well, the International Desk is going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. Stay with us.